Welcome back to our second ever episode of what we're going to call our series, The Locals. We have a very special guest on this week. It is Will Riedell. Will is currently playing on the East Coast Hockey League for Rapid City out in Rapid City, South Dakota. Played 4 years at Lake Superior State, one season at Ohio State University, where he was also the captain there as well, too, where he was later picked up by Lehigh Valley Phantoms in the AHL, the American Hockey League, and then is later are currently playing in Rapid City. Welcome to the podcast. Well, how you doing?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. We wanted to get you on. Main reason is that you and Cam played together growing up. Me and your younger brother played together a lot growing up, so we had a lot of family ties going back. But the main reason is I think out of about everybody that we are close with, you've kind of had the biggest career jump in the what we call the later stages of the career, where that second half of your career just took off, and you've become, one of the highest level playing players that Cam's played with over the years and everything along those lines. And we want to get you on to kind of pick your brain about, what went right for you, what you needed to kind of do for yourself, and how you were able to make those big changes into the sector. So I know I just kind of introed it, but I do want to start asking with questions. So going back, you did start out playing in Greensboro, North Carolina, with Cameron. You guys run the Greensboro Stars. What was that organization like? Kind of what was that for the development of you guys? I know it was, run by a lot of the parents and everything along those lines. But what did that kind of inspire in you, or give you, in the sense of the hockey?
Yeah, it's crazy kind of looking back on it and the journey and everything like that. Coming from Greensboro and kind of just knowing hockey the way I know hockey now, it's pretty wild to say that I've come this far. It, like you said, it was ran by parents and stuff like that. And honestly, I think we could all say we were just kind of playing for fun. It was fun to come to the rink and play and hang out with your buddies and, play games on the weekend. And I remember us going to like Biscuitville and stuff like that on Sundays, just like good
Mm-hmm.
times. And you know, that was pretty much it. There wasn't at that point, probably not until I was 15 was I really seriously maybe like looking at, trying to pursue it. It was just kind of all for fun for me to start.
And that's definitely an interesting avenue, because you hear a lot of kids that are 12, 13, that their only sport they're playing is hockey, and the only thing they focus on is hockey. And you just kind of brought up a good point. You didn't feel like you really started pursuing it until you were 15, and you just kind of played it for the love of it. What switch that made you want to, you saw yourself saying, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is my kind of my career path.
Yeah, I don't know if there was necessarily ever a switch. I know that when I was in high school, I was playing 16U, and I know my mom was working for the team and stuff like that in Greensboro. And I started getting into high school lacrosse, at school, and I was like, man, I really like lacrosse. Like, I want to stick with lacrosse,
Hmm.
And then like I wasn't getting the grades, and I didn't get good enough grades to keep playing lacrosse. So I was like, oh man, like I'm gonna stick with hockey. You know what I mean? So it was just
Yeah.
kind of a bounce back and forth, and then I finally it kind of clicked to me that hockey is what I wanted to do, and I had some good people kind of lead me along the way and tell me, hey, you got to step up your grades and stuff like that. And hockey kind of just kept me on that straight and narrow path, and that's kind of how I stuck with it and decided to kind of pursue it.
Now, you ended up at Vermont Academy for a couple
Yep.
seasons. How was your time there? Where kind of how did you end up getting to Vermont Academy?
Yeah, so we had just won the 16U double A national championship with Greensboro, and I was doing a couple of summer combines and stuff like that. Kind of what we all from Greensboro were kind of doing stuff like that, just to get some exposure and stuff like that. I still don't know if uh, like I still didn't know much about college hockey or the prep school and like just kind of all the levels of different ways you could go, junior hockey, different stuff like that. And I was approached by Chris Davidson, who was the coach at Vermont Academy when I was there, and he kind of just brought me through like kind of what it could do for me. And at the time, like I said, I was kind of struggling with school and stuff like that too. So I kind of took it as a way to help me with school, but also kind of pursue this thing in hockey. And kind of as I was approached about it, then I was like, well, like, thought it was kind of could be serious, and that's kind of the step I took, and I decided to go that direction, and it really worked out for me.
Nice. And then, we always say that it's for college athletes, it's a student athlete. So they always are focused on the student portion of it. Was making that switch to going to Vermont Academy in the academic sense a good one for you? Because I know there are some harder parts of going on your own as well, too, as far as the discipline of making sure you are keeping up with your academics and everything along those lines. So was that an easy transition for you, or do you feel like that was kind of what you needed in that time?
Yeah, it's definitely what I needed. I think everybody's different. I think there's so many different avenues for young players to take these days. I know that there's hockey academies out there now that, like, you're on the ice all week, and you're, um, you know, have like go to online school and stuff like that. But the prep school route for me was really good because it kind of gave me that pre-college kind of structure that I needed. But I also, got that discipline in the classroom, which is also what I really needed. And so I think everybody's different. I think for me, it worked out really well because, again, like I said, that was something I needed, that discipline, kind of learning how to study, different stuff like that. But you also get the hockey part of it too. And that helped me grow, obviously being away from home and stuff like that, kind of just being responsible for yourself. So that was the right choice for me for sure.
And growing up, you bounce back and forth from playing in Greensboro and playing in Raleigh as well too. I don't know how many. I think Cam and you would definitely know how many years you ended up doing there, but I did know you came over and played a couple years in Raleigh. Do you feel like it was too much of a hassle going back and forth to Raleigh? Did you just kind of feel like you wanted to play in Greensboro, your hometown, or kind of what was that transition from going from being in that AAA environment to just stepping back and going to that AA environment where you ended up thriving and succeeding very well past that point? But some of the parents look at it as, if my kid's not playing AAA, he's never going to make it. You decided to go a completely different route and a completely different avenue, and it ended up working out really well for you. What was kind of that decision factor there?
Yeah, I don't know if it was so much for me as it kind of may have been for my parents. It's very hard for any kid, or I mean any parent, to commit to doing something like that. Three,
Mhm.
4 times a week, and it's an hour and a half drive. Parents work and stuff like that. I think um, I played the year at AAA. I think it was my Bantam second year Bantam year. I played AAA. We had a really good team. Like, we had a really good team, and there's a lot of good players. And um, I definitely feel like I developed, and I got a lot better. And I just, again, like I wasn't really sure, I guess, what all AAA could do for me and stuff like that. I wasn't sure really where I wanted to take hockey. So again, like, the AAA thing was really good, and it exposed me to really good players. And made I was still definitely underdeveloped at that point. I wasn't, I was still progressing. I know there's a lot of guys that we were playing with that were like far better than I was, and I was like, wow, like, I need to really work on my own game. You know what I mean? It wasn't so much playing at the highest level. So I think playing in that AA setting kind of helped me progress and allowed me to focus on more of what I needed to work on.
Yeah, and I think another good piece to kind of pull away from that is you probably got a lot more ice time on the AA team than you maybe would have gotten on that AAA team, because you were the probably
Yeah.
arguably the best player on that team. So just a kind of another piece for parents to take away too is that it's not always about the quality of the play. It's how the quantity of how much ice time you're getting as well too, because when you're playing in big games, or you're playing in game time situations, nothing kind of compares to that. Now, directly out of Vermont Academy, you end up in the North American Hockey League. You went over and played. It was one season. I'm gonna draw a blank on it. You played one or half a season with, which team was it again?
Austin Bruins.
Austin, and then you went to the
Yeah.
Titans. Like, I knew it was one of the
Yeah.
two. I just couldn't remember. So you went to Austin
Yeah.
right out of Vermont. Were they scouting you directly there? Was that another situation where it was kind of over the summertime combine camps? Where was that kind of, where did they start taking notice of you as a defenseman and as a player?
Yeah. So it was actually kind of a crazy situation, but I ended up getting drafted in the USHL after my second year at Vermont Academy, and I obviously decided to go for it. So I went to camp and stuff like that, and I think I made the 40-man roster, and and then obviously there's another round of cuts, and ended up not making the team. And sitting down and having meetings with the coaches afterwards, after getting cut, they were just like, hey, like you need to play junior. I think that's the best thing for your development. So a bunch of American League or not American League, NA teams reached out to me, and not really sure why I chose Austin, but Austin seemed to be the best fit at the time for me. And I went out there and I enjoyed my time out there and played out there, and we're getting traded in February, and went to New Jersey, and that's kind of where I would say things kind of took off for me.
I was just gonna ask. I was gonna say, when did you feel like that kind of your skill level kind of took over, as far as you starting to, you had mentioned that there was players on the team that you felt like were way more developed than you. Where was that kind of that switch where it was like, oh wait, I'm probably one of the more developed guys on the ice now. I'm one of the stronger guys on the ice. Where did that switch really hit in your mind, where you started feeling a lot more confident in the play and your style of play?
I think it kind of went back even further than that. I think when I made the jump to prep school, when I started getting like the exposure of like what college hockey was and kind of the process, and some good mentors along the way kind of telling me what I needed to do, and finally just kind of like being open to that, and seeing that and being in that environment of being up in the Northeast and stuff like that was really kind of what pushed me and motivated me to continue playing. And I got up to Vermont, and started playing and working there, and I was one of the better players up there, and I kind of used that as motivation and fuel, and I guess started getting a little bit of interest from colleges and stuff like that, so that kids kind of kept building off that, and I kind of used that to go into junior hockey and stuff like that, and so yeah, probably in the prep school is kind of when it took off for me.
And the North American Hockey League, for people that don't understand, is tier two hockey. It's very high level. And how many games in a regular season are you guys playing in that North American League? It's right around the 56 mark, isn't it not?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So I mean, you're playing a pretty much a full professional schedule at that point. How big of a change was that, kind of that first year coming out of prep school? Because in prep school, I know a lot of prep schools are only playing 20, 25 games a season, just kind of depending, but you do have split season as well too. But how was that kind of adjustment to being on like a professional schedule of you're skating 5 times a week, you're playing, 2 games, 3 games a week? How was that jump for you?
I don't remember the jump being overly, taxing or anything like that. I think obviously just getting adjusted to the pace of play and stuff like that, and then just obviously learning how to be, I guess, more of a pro in a sense, because you're playing so many more games. You got to kind of learn how to take care of your body a little better, and kind of learn how to play consistent. That's the biggest thing, when you're playing so many games in a year, is you got to kind of learn the consistency thing. And I think those were the two challenges that were tough for me. It was just kind of playing consistent, and then obviously bringing that energy every day, because it can be tough playing 56 games, in a season.
And so you ended up going to Lake Superior State your first 4 years of college. Was that your first choice? How many schools did you end up having? Were you able to go on multiple school visits? Why did you end up at Lake Superior State to start?
Of of uh, of a college kind of experience, I guess, trying to get to college. Obviously, like I said, the biggest thing for me, and I think the biggest thing I want anybody, is do good in school. Like just do that. It's such a big aspect of getting to the next level, because it can open up so many more doors for you. And that's one thing I just was kind of in one ear out the other, unfortunately. Regrettable now, but yeah, it was just kind of I was obviously through prep school, through my first year of junior, and then obviously into my second year of junior. And I actually had a couple. I think I had two offers before Christmas time, went on a visit. I think I officially visited AIC was one of the schools. They ended up offering me. And the next day, they called me and they're like, "Hey, yeah, you didn't pass the NCAA clearinghouse, so you know can't can't keep can't keep the
Yeah.
scholarship offer. Like,
Mhm.
sorry." Um, and so obviously I was like, "Oh wow, like yeah, it's tough." So obviously I had to go back, do the SAT again, try to get my score up, and obviously pass clearinghouse. And like state called. It was about February. I just played in the All Star game, the NAHL All Star game, I guess, and they came calling and with an opportunity, and that was kind of my best opportunity at the time. I think I had a couple other schools, but they were kind of the best offer, and I felt like it's a place where I could grow as a player and really step in and make an impact.
And you ended up staying there for 4 straight seasons. You went to Ohio State for 1 year after. What was your time like at Lake Superior State? It's, I did a little bit of research into the school. It looks like a beautiful campus. Looks like a beautiful little area over there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's in the northernmost part of Michigan, in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Last exit before Canada, and it's just a small campus. It's a small town, small campus. Only D1 team on campus, but honestly, I loved it up there. It was, hands down the best 4 years. Looking back, I don't have any regrets about going there or anything like that. Like, that school was great for me. Again, school was a big thing. Just trying to stay focused on school and doing well in that small school environment with not a lot of distractions really helped me. And I mean, for 3 of my 4 years, we had really good teams, and our last year we won WCHA championship, which was really cool and big for the school, something we had never done before. So going up there and having an impact on the community and winning hockey games and getting back to their winning culture was something that I'll always remember, and it was really sweet.
You end up 1 year in Ohio State as well too, playing for not maybe arguably, but notoriety wise, a little bit of a bigger school, and bigger school just in public, setting wise. What was the difference in campus like? Was it a drastic change for you? Going from such a smaller school like Superior State to going to this big, massive school in Ohio State. It must have been a big kind of culture shock in a way for you.
Yeah, definitely. It's a total 180. I mean, you have an entire city as a campus pretty much. It's pretty wild, and you have such a big time football program there and stuff like that. You obviously go from a school of, I think we just had maybe about 2,000 kids to 45,000. It's a pretty
Mhm.
big culture shock, and but again, an unbelievable experience. I loved my 1 year there. I have made a ton of friends there, a lot of great relationships. You know, it was an unbelievable experience. I loved it.
Were you ever able to make it out to any of the football games?
Yeah, we made it out to a couple. It's cool. They bring you out on the field and stuff like that when you're an athlete there, and
Oh,
It's
that's
got to be
cool.
a good time.
it's a pretty cool experience being an athlete in the Big Ten, and then obviously just at Ohio State.
Mhm.
It's kind of a total 180.
Yeah, because I mean, even in those the hockey rinks in the Big Ten, they're selling out most of those facilities on good nights, and it's you're playing in front of 10, 11,000 people on a good night, and it's you got crazy atmospheres there as well too. Now, you right after your time there at Ohio State, you end up getting picked up by Lehigh Valley. You played 2 games there, kind of end of their season, winding down everything along those lines. What was that transition like, going from college to signing professional contract to all of a sudden you're in a AHL game and you're playing for the Phantoms? What was that time frame like? How crazy of a time frame was that for you?
It's pretty wild. I had a little bit of a downtime in between the kind of the season, or we were kind of a little shocked at the end of the Ohio State season, just kind of the way things finished up. We
Mhm.
Mhm.
just didn't have a strong finish, and it was kind of well, like I said, a shocking finish for us. And so it was kind of a tame couple weeks, not much really happening. And then obviously I got a call, saying there's an opportunity to go play in Lehigh. And like I said, I was able to play a couple of games there. It was just going from college to pro was definitely a little bit of a shock. Things are a lot different, and obviously the speed of the game and stuff like that. You definitely had to take that next step. And um, was I ready at the time? Yeah, I think I was. I think it's just one of those things that you know kind of just takes time, to kind of grow into. But um, yeah, it was a good experience. It was a good opportunity to kind of get my foot in the door right at the end of my college season and kind of set me up for the following year.
In that following year, you played 30, I think it was 33 games, if I remember correctly, in the AHL as well, again, too, and had more of a sustained run in that sector. Was that just maturity taking over, or was that just, confident play, or, kind of, what allowed you to stick around for a longer stint that second time around?
Yeah, I think it was kind of just maturity. I think it was also opportunity. I think opportunity has a lot to do with it. Getting the opportunity to kind of showcase the type of ability that I had. Um, just finding ways to stick. For me, it was kind of just playing a solid shutdown kind of role, moving pucks and north, and you know, not too much offensive contribution, but mainly just kind of focusing on, moving pucks quick and playing hard, being hard to play against. And, again, opportunity was a big part of that.
You were able to get at least your first AHL goal that season, though. You had two of them, so that's at least a big
Yeah.
milestone to hit and touch up on. And you're with Rapid City now. What's the experience like up there? I mean, I haven't seen much of the city. Can't say, like, haven't ever been to South Dakota, but what's the
Right.
atmosphere like? Is it's I know I can tell it's a smaller town, but is fan base good? How are the fans? How are the people? How's the atmosphere like around Rapid City?
It's been good. It's cool kind of being out in the Midwest. I haven't really spent much time out here at all. So kind of being able to see South Dakota, it's cool. And they got a really good fan base here. The people in Rapid City, like, love the team, and they get a lot of support. And it's a fun division to play in. And, there's some teams that do better than others as far as fans, but playing in Rapid City is definitely one of the better fan bases, and it's been a lot of fun so far to start.
Now, I'm going to come back to you in January and ask you that same question, because I don't think you will have the same answer in the middle of
Yeah,
South Dakota. But
middle South
I
Dakota.
Yeah.
understand the concept. Yes. Now, in the East Coast League, is the housing and stuff like that taken care of for you guys? Is that something you guys are looking at? I'm just curious more or less as to how that portion of it works. I know in certain, like, the certain other leagues, they take care of a housing, or they try and get you transportation or something like that as well too. So how does kind of East Coast League work with that?
Yeah, so they provide housing and stuff like that. So all the guys kind of live in apartments. We all live in the
Mhm.
same complex and stuff like that, which is
It's
cool,
good.
and keeps us close together and stuff like that. No transportation, but guys have cars and stuff like that, so we get around all right. And yeah, so it's good. Good, nice apartments.
Now, are you guys practicing every day? Is it, you guys kind of have a more of a set schedule than, as far as I, my train just went off the tracks there. So give me a second. I'll recalibrate the question. Uh, it, you know, is it more of a set schedule as far as the East Coast? I know certain leagues have, like, we play Saturday, Sunday, and then we play Wednesday and then Fridays, or something along those lines, where they only play on certain nights. Or is it kind of, you have a Tuesday game and you'll have a Thursday game with a Saturday, Sunday, it's just, you're kind of playing whatever night it is.
Yeah, it's kind of been all over to start the season. We just actually just got done with 3 games in 3 days in Wichita, and we were playing again Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes, like I said, it's Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Just kind of all depends. They usually try to
Mhm.
throw 3 games in on a weekend just because of the travel and stuff like that in this conference. But yeah, it's kind of usually the way they do it. And like we'll practice tomorrow and then obviously play Wednesday and stuff like that. But kind of once you get into the December, January, you're not practicing a ton. It's more just kind of, getting on the ice and getting moving on the days that we can, and just being prepared for the games.
Cam, we got any questions?
Yeah, I mean, do you like when you went from specifically playing from like when you're really young to coming all the way up to kind of where you are now, was there like, were there certain people that helped you? Obviously, I know there were obviously people that helped you, but was there, somewhere in particular you felt like, hey, I got the most out of my time here specifically? Was it prep school? Was it, the NA? Was it going from the NA to college? Like, where was that for you? Like, where you felt like you got the most out of your time wherever you were?
It's hard to put an exact place on it, because everywhere that I went, I was very fortunate to have a great relationship with my coaches, and they each had a big impact on me in different ways. Obviously, playing 16U and winning the championship and stuff like that, I still have a great relationship with Steve Sabo, who still lives in Raleigh.
Yep.
And he's been a big mentor for me. And then I went to Vermont Academy and had Chris Davidson as a head coach, and we still talk to this day, and he's been a big impact on kind of just guiding me to that next level as far as junior and college. And then I obviously had the coach from New Jersey, Craig Doremus, helped me get to Lake Superior. So, I mean, all these coaches have had huge impacts on me in different ways, and they've always pushed me to be my best. And I've taken something from each of them. And I don't think it was kind of one place in particular. I kind of each place was kind of a building block, which, was great.
No, that's
Now,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Cam, you can
No, you're
continue
good.
on if you have another one.
No, I mean, my last question was I was just going to ask, how's your family doing? How's everything with
Family's good.
mom, dad,
Yeah.
sister, brother?
Yeah, family's good. Still living in Greensboro.
Yeah.
Brother's he's in SUNY Cortland. He's finishing up his senior year there. He's still a goalie, and my sister's she's playing beach volleyball for Coastal Carolina.
Oh, nice.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, so kind of everybody's doing the college sport thing, and everybody's real good.
Does
Good.
Jack have any desire to continue playing after, or is he looking at a different kind of career path as well?
I'm not sure. We kind of talked about it here and there.
Mm.
We'll see how his year finishes up. Obviously, I think it'd be great for him to try it out and see what he can do. But it's kind of up to him on what he wants to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we don't want to take up too much more of your time. We know you're busy. You had ice today, possibly. I know you're on the ice tomorrow, so we don't want to keep you too long. But we appreciate having you on. You have done a lot for the area as far as kids being able to look up to somebody, especially in that Greensboro area. Just the ability to say that we've got people from Greensboro, North Carolina, and that group from the Greensboro Stars out playing at high levels. It's a great influence for a lot of these young kids moving up in the game, and we appreciate everything that you're doing, and we appreciate you making time for us to come on and talk to us for a little bit. So we want to thank you for that.
Yeah, awesome, guys. I appreciate you having me, and keep spreading the word. I think it's great that you guys are growing the game this way. It's awesome. Perfect.
And like I said, if you have any questions or need anything from us, feel free to reach out. We'll always help you out in anything we can do from our end as well. So, but we'll wrap up there, and this should be out on Wednesday. It'll come out around 1 p.m. on Wednesday. We'll send you over the link. But we just want to say goodbye to everybody. So we'll talk to you guys again on Sunday. Bye.